Tvoj život. Tvoja muzika. Rock Radio.
Hey, this is John Corabi
and Marco Mendoza.
We're the Dead Daisies, and you are listening to
Rock Radio. Turn it up, loud, loud.
Hi guys.
Hi, how are you?
I'm better now, thank you. How are you?
I'm good.
Good.
Yes.
Well, you travel a lot and you visited a lot of places around the world with a lot of bands, but every one of us like to hear nice things about the town we live in and the country we live in. But how much do you really know about the places you go to? What do you really want to know about those places and remember? What do you want to try to see, to experience?
Well, the reality is with our schedule, and just we have to be honest, with our schedule, we don't really get to hang out in any given city that long. There are exceptions, like we'll have a day off, tomorrow in Sofia, I believe. So we'll get out a little bit and we go sightseeing. So sometimes do a little bit of the tourist thing. But, I like to go out and meet some of the local musicians. I make it a point, and I've made some good friends along the way. Check out the local pubs, talk to the promoters and all that, because it always ends up being productive, when you come back with another project or whatever. But the sightseeing, the architecture, the history, that happens just by hanging out, But unfortunately, like here, we just got in this morning, like at 7 in the morning.
7 in the morning.
We're gonna play, and then right after, we're out. So there's no opportunity to see anything. But, we did a radio show, and the audience was over the top. Very cool. So that's what we need, That's the most important thing, is to share our music through the people. And then the rest takes care of itself.
And it looks like you had a really great experience in Cuba earlier this year. What can you tell me about?
It was definitely, obviously being American from a historical point of view, it was incredible. But this is something they had been working on for probably a year. I joined the band literally a week before we went. I had never even played with them until we got to Cuba. But the audience was amazing, the food was amazing, the people were just so kind and open arms, and it was an incredibly great experience. But it's funny, like Marco was just saying, even here, like everywhere we go, we're kind of blessed, we're musicians traveling all over the world, and I think that most people, when we meet them, are on their best behavior. They're always very kind to us, open arms, and so we kind of get the best of every place we go to. But Cuba was amazing.
Revolución, that's the name of the new album. What can you tell us about the album, and how is it different, and is it different from the Dead Daisies album?
Well, the first difference is, first of all, we got John, to collaborate and bring his thing into his essence into the album. That's a big one right there. His voice, his writing, his persona. On the other hand, it's, as we were recording, we would all make references to the bands we love, the 70s, the 80s. And that's basically, to make a long story short, that's the flag we're trying to fly. For people our generation and the younger generation that was never exposed to it, we're like saying, hey, check this out. Check these bands, check Deep Purple and Zeppelin and, Grand Funk Railroad and so on and so forth. Because it was a great time in music when we grew up. We were so lucky that we got, so much, it was a great time. So we made reference like that as we were recording. Yeah, reestablish and fly that flag, and in that regards, maybe it's not that different, but it's different to what people are doing today. It's we're kind of not reinventing the wheel, but we're grabbing the wheel and changing it a little bit and celebrating rock and roll like it used to be in the 70s and 80s. So,
the name of the album came up when you saw the word revolution on the wall.
Yeah, in Cuba, you can't walk, I don't know how many meters it would be. You can't walk one city block in Cuba without seeing that word somewhere. Viva la revolución. And again, like Marco said, we're not really doing anything different, but we're kind of waving a flag, I don't know, it just seemed to work, when we were looking for a record title and we were looking at photos of our trip and we kept seeing it everywhere. So we're like, well, let's just call the record Revolucion, it's right there, so it definitely worked. And like Marco was saying earlier, we're just trying to put a word out there about some of the great music that a lot of these kids nowadays kind of forgot about, or don't even know about, So we're waving the flag for the classic rock generation.
Every member of your band is very good, very
ancient.
I wanted to say very experienced musician and very good musician, and you were on stage with a lot of big legendary bands. How is it different now to be on stage with the Dead Daisies? How does it feel for you?
Well, the thing that's cool about the Dead Daisies is, first off and foremost, we're all friends. So that kind of lightens everything up. When we were writing the record, traveling, whatever, it's a constant laugh festival with all of us. We all kid each other, we joke around, the jokes are always coming, and then the other thing that's different with this band than the other bands that I've been in is, every other band that I've ever been in, you're being creative, but then you go out on the road or the record comes out and you're worried about the business aspect of things, like how many records we sell this week, how many tickets we sell, how many t-shirts, and this thing is, the way management has it set up, they allow us to do one thing, and that's be creative and be energetic when we're on stage. We don't have to worry about anything. We just have fun. We respect each other. And I think, when the audience comes and sees us tonight, they'll see that we're just 6 friends on stage, and we're just having fun.
When you're on stage, before you hit the first note, that moment, did anything change from your beginning when you were a younger guy?
not for me, because honestly, every night I go on stage, and this just may be a singer thing, but when I go on stage, I'm like, right as I go, I'm nervous all the time. I think once you stop being nervous, you kind of stop giving a shit about things, so I get really like, oh. I just get really worked up. I don't know how it is for you, but
yeah, there's an element of adrenaline, and I use it to my advantage because it gives me energy. I could be honestly, and I've had these days like today. I'm feeling a little down. We've been traveling and doing a lot, constantly working, so I'm reserving my energy. But something happens, man. You go out there, you put the in-ears on, the bass, you see the crowd, the lights go down. I'm aware of it. The adrenaline's already going. So I could be exhausted, fried, and as soon as the first chord hits, man, it's like you took a big old pill of whatever. And so I dig it.
Whatever.
I dig it because I'm pretty much addicted to that,
I think your son is a bass player too.
He is very good.
Your son is a bass player.
3 Grammys. 3. 1, 2, 3.
He's better than you. Is he better than you?
How many do you have, Marco?
None. I'm going to borrow one.
What did you tell him? What do you tell him about this world? Did you want your children to be something else?
Honestly, no. I had that talk with him because he had a career set up, and his mom, who passed away a few years ago, God bless her, and myself, we went through a lot of sacrifice to put him through school, expensive school, and so he was, he had his turbine engine engineer and aerodynamic. He had a career made, and my mistake, well, it wasn't a mistake, but I took him on the road like he's doing with his son. I took him on the road 2 tours for my solo project, my jazz thing, as a tech. That was it. He just had it in his blood. This is the life I want. This is the life I want. For his 21st birthday, it's a landmark. 21st, what do you want? I asked him. And I was hoping he'd say, well, maybe you can help me buy a car, or, he said, I had a signature fretless bass with Fernandez. I want that bass. I'd love to get it. Well, I can't give you this, but I'll get you one. So I got him one. And from that moment on, he just got in. Every moment he was on the headphones. And self-taught, he picked my brain a couple of times. So a lot of credit to him. And he started playing. Before you know it, within a year, I'm not kidding you, he had a big gig in Mexico with a band called Corabi, playing stadiums. His first gig. I'm going, hey, throw me a bone.
There's something wrong with this, because I took my son as my drummer. I have a solo band at home. Mm-hmm. So I took my son on this thing they do every year in America, the Monsters of Rock cruise. Yeah. So I take my son on the cruise, and first of all, I paid him. So I pay him to go on the cruise. He goes on the cruise, so 3-4 days, this kid had more women following him than, so he got paid, he got more ass than a toilet seat, and then like 2 weeks later, my friends are like, have you seen this? And they send me this link, I click and open up, and it's Rolling Stone magazine, my son, all these girls on the beach, and I go, I've been in the fucking business for 30 fucking years, and I've never been on Rolling Stone. Yeah.
And do you think it's easier for them now to be what you were trying to be 20 or 30 years ago?
I think it's easier. I think it's harder to be a musician, But, it comes down to you have the goods, you have the talent, you're at the right place at the right time, the doors open up and you deliver. Boom, that's it. Your career begins.
The thing I think is easier, though, is that we're here as people that made a lot of mistakes from the time we started to now. So my son comes to me and he said, hey, I got offered a record deal. What should I do? And I'm just, from my experience, I go, get a lawyer. Have him look through everything. And if he says it's okay to sign, sign. If it's not, if no, do not sign it. I don't care what they said, So that aspect, they don't have to go through the mistakes that we went through. So maybe it is a little easier, but not totally. Yeah.
We don't have any more time.
I still think they're both little bastards, though.
Bastardos.
Yeah, take your Grammys and your Rolling Stone and shove it, kid.
Last question, is rock and roll alive and well?
Abso-freaking-lutely. Just come see us tonight and go to the deaddaisies.com. A lot of rock and roll going on there and all over the planet. And we need rock and roll and music more than ever right now.
Tvoj život. Tvoja muzika. Rock Radio.